皆さんこんにちは。本日は第9回
Good afternoon,
Amazon
ladies and
アカデミーにご参加い
gentlemen.
ただきまして
Welcome
誠に
to
ありがとう
9th
ございます。
Amazon Academy.
Amazon アカデミーは
Amazon Academy takes up challenges faced by Japanese society and corporations and try to offer and explore possible solutions from the perspectives of industry, academia, and the government. We have held 8 Amazon Academies since 2018 with such topics as digital transformation, SMB support, as well as brand protection in e-commerce. Now, this Amazon Academy takes up the topic of diversity driving SMB innovations. For the Japanese SMBs, diversity will enable them to generate new value and grow their business. We'll have ample time in discussing diversity. Belatedly, I am Miho Nakai. It is my pleasure to serve as your MC today. Now, first of all, I would like to invite Mr. Jasper Cheung, the CEO of Amazon Japan.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Amazon Academy. At Amazon Academy, our learnings are shared and this occasion is used for a discussion on continuous growth and prosperity in Japan. This is the 9th anniversary. Currently, Amazon serves hundreds of millions of our customers in the world with wide selection at low cost and convenience. Also, with close to 2 million selling partners in the world, where SMBs make up a large part, we play an important role as a partner company to support their success. Customers of Amazon, selling partners, delivery associates, all the stakeholders of Amazon, and organizations, and also the employees, are the ones who have helped us grow till today. What is critical from that relationship is innovation. Over 23 years in Japan, Amazon has been able to continuously work on innovation. The underpinning idea of that is continuous approach against changes from moment to moment. Amazon has always accepted diversity, offered equity, and nurtured inclusiveness. This philosophy is an absolute must for Amazon's growth. As I would like to share this philosophy with you all, it was taken up as a theme for today's Amazon Academy. We welcome every walk of life, and by liaising with the business partners and sellers who have unique needs in their business, Amazon has created the occasion for innovation to be generated naturally. This brings about purpose for our organization and serves as a strong driver in order to transform commercial activities all over the world. Overlapping area where technology, human resources, and purpose are in place offers a next business opportunity. And SMBs are the foundation to support Japanese economy and plays an important role to drive prosperity. Today, amazing speakers and panelists are invited to share their views, experiences, and learnings. I am very grateful and honored. As panelists, we have Mr. Asetsu from Sotsu Medical, Ms. Nishiyama of Nishiyama Sake Brewery, and Mr. Matsuda from Herald Boni. They have established the one and only best business on the ground of diversity. I am looking forward to listening to their experiences and lessons learned. Ms. Soma from Economic and Industrial Policy Division of METI will talk about diversity management. Diversity management is essential from the viewpoint of the low birth rate and aging society in Japan and enhancing competitiveness in the world market. Therefore, METI is backing up its promotion. Professor Nawa, as you're aware of, is a leading business scholar for economics. He shares purpose management, which I resonate. I hope today's Amazon Academy will provide tips to support discussions that will encourage transformation and behavioral changes. In addition, at your organization, this will serve as a trigger to cultivate an innovative culture with diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. Thank you very much.
Cheung 社長でした。ありがとうございました。
President Cheung, thank you very much.
それではここから基調講演に移り
Next, I would like to move on to the keynote speech. First of all, inviting Director Economic and Social Policy Division, Economic and Industrial Policy Bureau, METI. Diversity in the workplace, how it drives innovation and creates value in Japanese companies. Floor is yours, Ms. Soma. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Soma from the Economic and Society Policy Office. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to discuss. Today, the theme is how it drives innovation, creates value in Japanese companies from diversity in workplace. First of all, I'd like to discuss over innovation and diversity management. As to the innovation, there are different definitions, I believe. At the METI, the Ministry of Economy, Trade, Industry, we create new value through innovative methods and new combination of existing methods that would lead to solving social and customer issues through dissemination and penetration among society and customers, a series of activities that contribute to the acquisition of business value and the resolution of social issues. Investment into the R&D that will be generated new things. Investment into the human resources and capex will be leading to the next new stage. Another keyword, which is the diversity management. Diversity, that is the diversity. What is the diversity? As you find over this slide, there are different diversity in terms of age, gender, nationality, presence, disabilities, as well as career experiences. I do believe that that would also include some skill sets too. Each one of the individuals is different. However, the way that they think or leveraging the experiences and people got together to discuss it, it would meet innovation, and that would be leading to the value creation. And that is something promoted as a diversity management. Now, when promoting diversity management, what are the key points? I have listed the 3 points. One is efforts made by management, establishment of personnel management system, and efforts by on-site managers. It is important that those three focuses are implemented together. At each company, management strategy and purpose are available, but diversity perception needs to be incorporated. With respect to the personnel management system, based on such management strategy, what is needed at one's organization, how it could be make the best use of the people through the diversity, for example, capability enhancement support, so on. As for the efforts by on-site managers, by utilizing such system, for those frontline managers will think of how the making the best use of the diversity, how to make the best performance of the talent. It's something that they should use. So those three needs to be well intertwined when initiatives are implemented, I believe. Achieving diversity management requires, there is another keyword, that is the inclusion. I will explain this, diversity and inclusion. D&I, probably some of you have heard of this word. At the workplace, when it comes to the inclusion, the diverse human resources are accepted at workplace, and one will be able to exercise one's full capability. Individual different, but each one of them is accepted and also working as one's own, accepted by one's own uniqueness. For example, if foreign employees are asked for advice only on language and cultural aspects when expanding into overseas markets, and other important matters are decided by the only Japanese employees, that is not the case. So how each one of the characteristics needs to be utilized and to be contributed, and that will be important for the diversity aspect. In addition to the inclusion, for achieving diversity management, there is another aspect, which is the equity perspective that I'd like to discuss. Equality and equity, as a word, it sounds similar. But when it comes to equity, understanding all the differences that has been that is available, each one of them, and to provide the or offer the same level of opportunity. For example, on the left-hand side, if you were to look into this illustration for equality, people with the different characteristics are provided with the same bicycle. By providing the same bicycle with the different characteristics, some people could ride a bicycle, but others may not. But when you look into equity illustration, this matches to each one of the characteristics. So everybody will be able to be given an opportunity to ride on a bicycle. So it matches and it accommodates each one of the feature or the characteristics of individuals. On the right-hand side, the number of boxes are changed depending on the height of an individual. So everybody will be able to watch a baseball. With respect to equality, it is not supporting based on each individual difference, but supporting across the board. However, for equity, each one of the characteristics are considered and to support. When it comes to the organizational activities, for example, there are different types of the welfare program or the human resources program. So far, it could, if we were just to be used the majority of the employees, then maybe moving on, minority could also be accommodated with that available human resource program. And that is what I would like you to think. Now, when it comes to this diversity management, let's look into what sort of the benefit it provides. By promoting the diversity, there are some outcomes expected to be generated. Product innovation is one. In addition to that, process innovation, improvement of external evaluation, and effects within the workplace. All of them are linked, I believe. For example, by encouraging diversity, the employee satisfaction goes up, then process innovation, product innovation will contribute to the actual business. By doing so, it would raise the external assessment And that is part of the expected positive outcome. There are some case studies and examples I would like to share with you. There are 3 of them. The first one, innovation creation to be promoted through diversity. Now, the companies with above average have a higher sales volume. Diversity is leading to the innovation creation. That is what is illustrated with this graph. The second one is the improvement in productivity. By increasing the number of diversity human resources, productivity is enhanced. So that is the graph. But please pay attention to this in the middle. You need to accommodate the diversity that needs to be incorporated into the diversity management strategy. With the different people's workplace, that would help enhance the productivity of the work. But far right, even though the diversity has increased but there is no initiative, then conversely, the productivity is eroded, like equity or inclusion related here. So diversity, if you are just to have a diversity, it is not enough. You need to make the best use of it, and also you have to take initiatives that would make the best use of diversity. The third point, this comparing with those companies with the female managers shows the better performance. Maybe you are aware of this. From the corporate governance perspective, it is well respected. So the board of directors, having a more a diversity perspective to manage and have the board of directors. The fourth one is improvement in engagement. From the management perspective, those companies which place the emphasis on diversity, it goes up as to the productivity, and also they have some feeling of effect of diversity. I mentioned over the productivity earlier, but employee engagement requires the diversity aspect. I think it is shown with this. The last case, this is the enhancing security of human resources. We asked some of the grads pursuing some job or job seekers, and looks like they are more put emphasis over those companies with the diversity emphasis. So from the securing human talent, it is necessary to have the diversity aspect, and it is also necessary to deliver that message to society. Just for your information purpose, this is the SMBs example. According to the 2019 Economic Fiscal White Paper, we worked on and we chose those companies. They have different initiatives, for example, measurement of diversity or implementing flex work style. It's not just a specific attribute, but different people will be able to take a different program. So various initiatives are taken. Over this web page, it is available, and different case studies are available. And I appreciate if you could look into at your luxury of time. Now, I have explained the benefits of diversity. So how many companies in Japan are incorporating diversity aspect? This is the data from 2020. This it's more or less 50% which takes the diversity initiative. As to the timing to implement, it is around 2016. So it's maybe 10 years or so. It has been implemented as diversity initiative. Now, what sort of the efficacy or effect those companies have? For example, innovation creation or the securing talent, productivity improvement. There are different types of the positive effects. The earlier the company which implement diversity aspect, they feel the effect earlier. So diversity is going to change the culture, but the immediate outcome is not expected. Therefore, the management should have the mid and long-term perspective and to commit. I think that is important. Now, in order to promote this diversity management, what sort of the initiatives are taken by METI is now covered. This is released in 2020. The Human Resources Edition, Ito Report 2.0, summarizes the importance of human capital. And one of the themes was picked up as diversity and inclusion. For DEI, it is directly linked to the management. That is represented with this illustration. Among them, to promote diversity management, what one can do is here. As I explained in the beginning of this, it is very much important for the efforts made by management, personnel management system, and efforts by on-site managers. And we have prepared some leaflet and tools that would assess one's company's state. It is available over the website. So hopefully that will be able to support how this diversity accommodated initiatives that could be promoted by organization. Lastly, I would like to share with you two topics or so. In the beginning of this session, gender, nationality included in diversity and so forth. Here in Japan, it is one of the important themes for active engagement of women. At METI, we have been implementing different efforts. For example, women's initiatives for leadership, for training. So the large-sized companies, female leaders are working together with the SMBs leaders in order to look over the business. So that is one of the initiatives that we have. The other one is supporting for the female entrepreneurs. That is for what we do more recently. Another theme that I'd like to introduce is neurodiversity promotion. Neurodiversity is a philosophy that considers differences in various characteristics derived from the brain and nerves, such as developmental impairment. It will make the best use of the difference in society. As to the system of human resource management, strength or the capability are not well identified by the company, or it is missed from the nurturing of such people with the developmental disabilities. However, in relation to neurodiversity, different efforts are provided. Therefore, those people will be able to be actively participate in the workplace, and we have such materials available. Therefore, hopefully that you could refer to this information. This is the last slide. Diversity management is a management approach that respects the diversity of each individual and provides opportunities for them to demonstrate their abilities to the fullest, leading to innovation and value creation. Inclusion, equity are necessary to leverage the diversity, so mid-term, long-term initiative is required to promote diversity management. It will be helpful for the competitiveness enhancement of companies, and also it is essential for Japan as we are facing with the low birth rate and aging. Therefore, we would like to continuously promote this initiative. Thank you very much for listening.
Soma-san, thank you very much. Very straightforward, including lots of case studies. Now I would like to invite Professor Takashi Nawa, visiting professor at ICS Hitotsubashi, who will discuss purpose management. Unfortunately, Professor Nawa could not make it here, but he has kindly sent his pre-recorded keynote. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the introduction. I am Nawa. I'd like to discuss why purpose management is necessary for SMBs. And also, diversity will be the key in purpose management. But why purpose? Corporates face and address three markets. The market of your customers, where life shift is happening. People are living up to 100 years of age. Environment, society, health have become important focal points. In the human resource market, work shift is happening. Now, companies are not selecting people to work for them, but people are selecting companies to work for. And in the financial market, money shift is happening. In order to get funds, you have to have sustainability plus purpose of the corporation. These three shifts that I talked about, requires purpose to be there in corporate management. How do you build your purpose? Let me take up an example of Sengokuya, an SMB. Well, purpose sounds too abstract for SMBs. But Senbokuya worked with Nikkei Inc. to build purpose for the company. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Senbokuya, with 26 workers, lost lots of jobs to supply to large OEMs. So they decided to use the time to build their purpose. So this is a part of their workplace. A worker is working on lathe milling machine. Now, here is a group of three youngsters creating purposes. Actually, there is another group of three senior members of the company. Using Post-its, they do lots of brainstorming to eventually get to the corporate purpose. This is Ueda-san, the president, and this is me briefing Ueda-san. They started working in September 2 years ago, and within a month, they came up with a purpose. I've helped 100 companies plus to build purposes, but it is the shortest time that took. It was possible because it was the SMB. So, a younger team and a senior team and the president worked weekly to meet, to align their views, to build purpose within a month. So these are the keywords in three perspectives or three domains running up to 2050. In 30 years, from three perspectives of one, customers, number two, employees, and number three, society, the planet, community, and future children. They had thorough discussion of what sort of a company they would like to be, using Post-its. Actually, purpose activities start from that type of a brainstorming. Now, from this, they built their purpose, which you can find on their website, verbalizing what they want. And that's important because those words motivate employees. And young people are now interested in joining this company now. So, purpose can ignite the minds of the employees and also be a magnet to attract future workers. So that was a very important impact for Senbokuya. Now, from managers, we often are asked, how can we link purpose to profit? So this is what I use, the purpose cross. Purpose managers talk about 4 economic impact. On the left, we have short-term PL. On the right, we have long-term balance sheet. Now, purpose companies on left top experiences increasing revenues because on social media they get lots of likes and lots of fans. And On the right bottom, you reduce your, or left bottom, you reduce your cost, especially the HR cost, because each and every employee is more productive. It's not that they're reducing or making their employees redundant. Productivity increases by 2 to 3 times, and creativity 10 times. So, per person, activities and production increases, thus reducing the HR cost. On the right, off the balance sheet risk includes compliance risk. And that is something everyone wants to eliminate, and purpose certainly is important, because when employees take purpose as their ownership, they would not think of violating compliance. So that's why your risk is reduced. On the right top, and this I believe is the most important, that is the increase of intangible assets. There are 4 of them. Number 1, brand and reputation. Purpose companies certainly enjoy brand value and high reputation of possibly future customers. And number 2 is knowledge. In purpose management, you have to rack your brain in terms of how to enhance your corporate value while doing good to the society. And number 3 is network value, because purpose companies tend to be talked to by local governments or like-minded industry partners. And number 4 would be human capital. In the context of cost, I talked about this. Off-balance sheet expenses or risks would be human resources, but then you can turn that around to be the foundation for the future businesses. So, in order to become such a company, what sort of an organization would you like to build? There are 2 axes in this slide. The x-axis is scale and scope. Y-axis is economy of scale and speed. If your skills and speed are high, you are edgier. Now, the startups can always take 2 possible routes. Number 1 is to expand in scale and scope to become major corporation. But then, if that's the route it took, well, we often talk about the companies have a life of 30 years because eventually they lose steam in terms of motivation and speed. On the other hand, you can go upward to build distributed and autonomous organization. This is where individual skills can be enhanced, but you cannot expect scale in your job. So, each individual can be autonomous and distributed, but then you can be connected to do a big job. So, it's not the organizational structure like right bottom. You remain independent, but your thoughts and minds are connected, so the purpose will be the magnet to achieve that connectivity. Connectivity amongst yourselves within your 4 walls and also outside, so that you get together to do something big. But there are certain conditions to be able to do so. Innovation at edges is often heard at Silicon Valley. Innovation happens only at the edge, some marginal areas. Gemba in Japanese terms. The gemba, the front line, is where changes happen, not from the headquarters, but then the headquarters have to be there to have a discerning eyes to understand the seeds of innovation at gemba and connect them to be a big movement. So that's what I mean by tremor at gemba, corporate connecting them, and resulting in tectonic shift. And that's what innovation is all about. And for that purpose, people at Gemba have to be young and curious and different from others. And I would often use the terms wakamono, yosomono, bakamono, or youth outsiders, fools, meaning diversity. Diversity has to be there in order to start the first tremor. But that alone will not lead to innovation. In order for the innovation to be implemented, not only diversity, but also inclusion and purpose have to be there, because inclusion turns centrifugal to centripetal, a magnet to connect everyone. So that's the necessity of having purposes. Now, how can you ignite your innovation? On this chart, I have innovation on y-axis. Creativity is a key in innovation. This is something AI cannot come up with. AI needs big data. N equals 1 is something that is made by Takumi or human craftsmanship. But you cannot have scale with it. Now, the scale is the x-axis. Then I have routine at right bottom. You have to have routine, a formality to have scale. But then, once something is formalized in routine, it becomes obsolete. So there is a trade-off relationship between creativity and routine. Takumi and shikumi in Japanese. Thus, these two have to be connected with creative routine. So creativity can become a routine, and routine can be creative. So corporate would look at the creativity and try and find some tectonic shift to lead it to routine. Professor Ikujiro Nonaka used those terms, and I added this chart to explain this. So, Takumi can become shikumi, or mechanism of a company, and this is the structure of innovation. However, as you look at the reality, what we face is M-curve. Have you heard of M-curve? Well, in the past, we talked about M-curve for women empowerment. In 30s and 40s, women leave office to raise children and then come back in 50s and 60s to work for the company after the children grew up. But now, today, we are talking about M-curve for purpose. Management want to ignite the company, or not the company, but the mind of your employees. And those who are in their 20s, they're very enthusiastic about those purposes. However, those who are really busy in their 30s and 40s, they do not have time because they're seeking KPIs, realization, instead of seeking purpose. So they distance themselves from purposes. But those employees who have ownership of purpose will have 3-4 times productivity and 10 times of creativity. This is such a pity. How can you ignite the minds of those in their 30s and 40s with your purpose so that they feel that their work is fulfilling? How can you realize that then? How can you embed your purpose in your management? When I help companies, I try to work in 3 areas. Number 1, on the right-hand side, you see a star. It is a North Star, a massive transformative purpose. Pretty wordy, but it's your North Star. Not the purpose for now, but the purpose for the future, like running up to 2050. So it's a to-be status, eliminating all constraints. You talk about your dreams. You remember Senbokuya, where people were using Post-its to do the brainstorm. There are 3 conditions of working on this. Whether that purpose is exciting, unique, and possible. So these are the 3 conditions. As long as these conditions are met, anything will go as a purpose for the future. Now, number 2, that is to realize the reality. You look into the mirror and you're not your future self. There are problems because you're too busy. But then, if you do not do anything, you cannot go to that exciting future. So, number 3 would be activities for finding solutions and changes. People hate changes because you are comfortable with where you are and what you do. But in the future, once you have seen the dream, your North Star, your future state, then you will be motivated to change the status quo. And individuals will have such motivation. Such a motivation is something that drives adrenaline in the minds of your employees, driving changes. So, purpose is the starting point. And you work toward transformation, and individuals begin making efforts. Once your employees can do that, then a future growth and success is promised for your company. With this, I'd like to conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. There are different speeches were made. I'd like to move on to the panel discussion. Based on the new value, innovation is taught by 3 SMBs. We would like to ask them to be on the stage to share their viewpoints and experiences. Let me introduce the 3 SMBs. First of all, Mr. Setsu, Ameikaku, President and CEO of Sotsu Medical. He's from China. 15 years ago, taking the opportunity of studying here in Japan, he came over. And after that, he launched own branding in 2017, covering beauty and health appliances in order to meet the customers' needs in a speedy manner. High-quality products are provided. To that end, he has developed and put into practice as to the unique process. Next, I would like to introduce the Ms. Momoko Nishiyama from Nishiyama Sake Brewery, Shuzo, director and proprietress. It was launched in 1849. That is the sake storehouse and sake brewery, where she married into that family, and focusing on the unique, the best storehouse of the sake. Over the 10 years, she has been challenged with the attractiveness of Tamba, a region, in terms of the Japanese sake and storehouse. And lastly, from the Herald Boni, Mr. Matsuda, CEO. Since 5 years ago, with the twin brother Fumito-san, as he has the elder brother with the intellectual disability, and he wanted to change the image of the intellectual challenge disability and try to operate the art style brand to make a commercial product for those arts made by the intellectual disability, and expanding into the welfare area. I would like to welcome Mr. Setsu, Ms. Nishiyama, Mr. Matsuda. Now, as to the existing business habits, or without being adamant to social norm, you are creating a new sense of value. So where is the source of that challenge? What motivates you? I would like to ask you, Mr. Matsuda first. Thank you very much. For myself, since I was born, my older brother, 4 years older than myself, and since I was a child, he had this intellectual disability. Well, it is not known for me. However, I thought that the society has, some people had prejudice, and I was frustrated. Therefore, by 30 years old, I wanted to challenge in the area of the welfare. And as a result, I launched my business at the age of 27. And I saw the art and welfare, so where the people, the local people, shared some brand and I admired, and I thought it was very much cool and beautiful. And I thought that maybe we could change the image of the intellectual disability. Maybe under the umbrella of branding, if I were to roll out the art of the intellectual disability people, it might change the image. It's not from the context of the support, but from the business context, that I find many intellectually disability people are now have the income tax return. Now, you said that it is the welfare experiment unit, and I thought that this word is cool. Well, some people might say that welfare shall not be failed, therefore, to be challenged. And I wanted to share with them the process of a challenge. Next, I would like to ask Ms. Nishiyama the same question. There's only one motivation, mottainai, that's wasteful. From Osaka to Tamba's sake brewery and storehouse that I married into that family. And I thought that Tamba is great. And on site, there is a registered tangible cultural property available. And only the rice and the water and fermenting agent, we were able to generate the sake, and I was very much impressed. Even though I was Japanese, I did not know that. And that was the largest motivation to let this know people. And there is a decline in birth rate and aging, and also a decline in demand are some of the issues. But some people are not aware of, and people who are working here are not aware of the value, and it was not properly disseminated. Such value is one of the issues. So I wanted to have an employee to disseminate. They do. Each one of them has the pride. However, they are very much humbled, and sense of humbleness is bigger than pride. Therefore, that is one of the motivations, or the large motivation for us to work on. Or people who came outside of that village, you found a positive part. How you are going to communicate with those people who are staying there for a long period of time is very much difficult. Well, because it has been cultivated for hundreds of years, and I am the newcomer, and if I were to say to change, then there could be some resistance. Maybe 10% of the targets with a small step. I want them to build up these success experiences. Right, this is the continuous of the reform and innovation that you said. So it is the cumulative of the initiative. So Setsu-san, what is your motivation? My motivation, or my source of the challenging feeling, so I do have a feeling of a challenge, which I thought more recently. Maybe one of the largest factor is the frustration. Maybe people might have some image over China. I have been living in Japan. After I launched my business, I want have people and people on the world to acknowledge and recognize. Therefore, I would like to come up with something good. Since I have such aspiration, I do have a challenging feeling for what is new. In addition to that, if I may talk about the motivation, my hope in the future is something to be generated through changes. But in order to feel the change, speed is important. Because it is limited as to your life, and life is short. I'm from the rural area of China, And in the year I was born, for the first time, electricity was became available. And when I was a child, it's only black and white TV. And the first year of the junior high school, was the first time that fixed line was connected. So it was so impressive. Then it comes from CD to DV and net to internet, and from the 3G mobile phone to the 5G mobile phone. And now we have some EVs. I have been going through the different experiences. And I have a very high expectation for the future. I went through the rapid growth of economy. Therefore, I feel that there is an importance of the speed. So my origin is the expectation of the future. So you will not lose the motivation, and you're not fear from failing, and you say that you will not stop challenging yourself. That is available on the website, and you said that. So that was very much impressive for me. So one of the strongest weapons is the speed. Well, since I am in the SMB, and besides the speed, there is nothing that I could offer as a benefit. Therefore, I have to do my business with a good speed. Thank you very much.
Now, diversity driving SMB innovation is the topic of this event. Now, your approaches to your businesses, what sort of impact do you think you're delivering to your community, to your industry? Well, Matsuda-san, certainly your activities are very impactful, but what is your take on that? Well, it's been 5 years since we launched the company. We are a startup. We had a very modest start. When we wanted to have a business discussion, people would look at what we do as something like a charity, not having much of value. But 2 years into the business, COVID-19 pandemic hit Japan. And at that time, many apparel brands withdrew from the department stores. Now, that was an opportunity for us. We now could get the place, the counter. So we decided to go for the prime location within department stores. So my brother, my twin brother, and myself decided to do that, and that was the beginning of my drive. Now, over the past couple of years, we are seeing DEI advancing. Actually, we've been applying for a Good Design Award since the foundation of the company, and we've entered every year, and in the 3rd year of foundation, interestingly, the same products that we entered the previous year won all the awards. So the changes in the society certainly helped us. You have a Herald Boni card, a credit card. Yes, that's right. Thank you. It's a credit card, Herald Boni card. Actually, it has an artwork on the surface. And as you use your credit card, you are making contributions to the artist with intellectual disabilities. LTV is 4 times greater for this card compared to other card because many people want to contribute. And this card attracts young people as well as card holders. So this kind of thing, I think, is going to be a norm in the society. So you are looking for something you can, and young people are very good at finding those. And older people will look at you and try and mimic you. Now, Setsu-san, what is your take on this? The same question. Well, within this industry is for health gear and beauty gear, especially in the beauty gear area. Many companies are not even sure whether their products are effective. I didn't like it. Japanese brands are trusted in the world because of the lots of efforts that those Japanese corporations put into their products. But within my industry, we don't hear much about efforts in product development and research. Unfortunate. But Japanese brands are popular. Japanese companies are good at branding. And that enhances confidence in Japanese brands. But for how long is the question I have. Over 15 years, I've lived in Japan. And I've been thinking what I can to contribute to the Japanese society. Now, in Japan, therapy may be offered, researches may be offered by doctors, physicians. So about 300 of them have formed a Facebook group where they do ideation and they validate our products and their patients. Product planning does not start from marketing data of sales data, but we start off with the pains of the customers so that we can come up with products which can alleviate such pains of the customers, products that customers would feel effective and also affordable. Affordability is very big as well. Because we are an SMB, we have to be nimble and fast, agile. And we want to continue making something good and something right so that we will continue to have a place in the society. In 10 years, I would like to combine Japanese wisdom and Chinese capability of research and development so that we can make contributions to the world. So you want to contribute to the world. That's your vision. And that's your grand purpose, as a matter of fact, that you aim at. Now, in the world of sake, isn't that also true? Nishiyama-san? Right? The sake brewery industry is largely male-dominated, with hundreds of years of history. So honestly speaking, the speed of innovation and transformation is not as fast as Setsun's industry. But within that circumstances, as a woman, I work there in Kura Brewery, and as I try and challenge myself to do something new, I sometimes receive criticisms. But it is true, over the past couple of years, I see changes in the environment. Now we are renovating an old brewery building to open a new museum where people can experience fermentation. Actually, this has been recognized as a field pavilion of 2025 Osaka Expo. That's not what we intended. We've always thought of the roles breweries can play in the society. Sake can make you smile, but it's not only that. We've been always thinking what we can do more, and actually that was aligned with the goals of the expo in Osaka. So now we brew sake, and at first when I started trading it on our e-commerce site, I was criticized. But then now, Kura and liquor shops and e-commerce sites, all of them have different roles to play and different characteristics, all of them contributing to the industry. actually, someone criticized me at first, already has his own e-commerce site. Now, this is a very male-dominant field, as I said, and I'm often asked to speak in the framework and context of women empowerment. But I really feel that eventually that will stop, because within Kura Brewery, there is no difference in ages, gender, nationality. The only thing that is common amongst us and binds us would be the motivation to work. So, I hope I will become nothing special going forward. I see. So that's your purpose of becoming nothing special. I certainly would like to welcome that change in the society. Now, my last question. For SMBs, in order to come up with innovation, what are the roles and possibilities of e-commerce? Setsu-san, let me begin with you. What does e-commerce mean to you? Well, I'm not saying this because I'm here at Amazon Academy, but I really started my business with Amazon. That was the only channel for me to sell my products for the first 2 years. So I'm still stay very grateful. Without Amazon, I wouldn't have been able to start my business. I was alone, so I had to design my own web page, but that was very easy, and logistics was made easy by Amazon.
Now the role of e-commerce to play, it's not just the EC selling, but when I thought of the wholesale through this e-commerce, there are difference in nationality, and since our company was small, it was difficult to gain trust from some companies at some point of time. But for internet selling business, it was very helpful. As to the sales of EC and from the review credentials, where we got to the high rating, therefore we were able to establish a trust. And we were able to get an appointment with corporations. Even though the size of the company is small, as long as the company is producing a good product utilizing e-commerce, that's the small sized business will be able to challenge the large sized companies and corporation. So I think it is one of the role expected of the e-commerce. I'm sure that e-commerce is going to evolve, especially in China, utilizing AI. Live commerce is available. Even though it is late at night, if somebody made an order, somebody delivers, and we use it as a norm. So I feel great potential in here. Maybe some comments from users are provided, and isn't that encouraging? Yes, sometimes I cry. Yes, as I check all those feedback. Directly, such feedback and comments are delivered. Without caring if the impact is big or that small, it is attractive that you'll be able to provide your product and hope that the e-commerce is going to evolve further. So what is your viewpoint, Matsuda-san? When it comes to the e-commerce, if everybody on the planet would like to have that, any item, as the illustration shown earlier, it is the equity to purchase some items available in the world. This provides an opportunity for harmonization, I think. Actually, we are headquartered in Iwate, and there's a hotel, a gallery. We provide products to the department in Iwate Prefecture. And on a global basis, we are going to establish a local entity in France next year. including the logistics, will be able to visualize the opportunities, and it is appreciative for us. Well, stores are recognized as a showroom, and it will be leading to a B2B commercial negotiations. Therefore, it is also important as to the real shop. But for what you look into at the real store, when you would like to have that as a result of that, so you think later days that you found it was that is something you want, but you will be able to purchase later. From that point of view, I do believe that the online provides equity. Thank you very much. So both format or forms shall be used. That is important. And you have a hotel now? Yes. It is the hotel with art, rolling out art. Like at the Kura or the storehouse of sake, I'm sure that accommodation will be available. So VR and online experiences will be available on a hybrid basis. So this is something very much common between us, including Amazon. I do believe that this type of the items to be delivered is great. So Nishiyama-san, you found some sympathy. Yes, I resonate for what he said, Matsuda-san said. At Nishiyama Shuzo, we are located in Tamba. It is very much in depth of the mountains. From the talent perspective and channel and distribution perspective, comparing with the urban city, I think we are disadvantageous. However, when it comes to the e-commerce, there is no such obstacles or barriers. In 2014, we were stricken by disaster of torrential rain, and electricity, water disrupted, not able to produce sake. However, the e-commerce was used by customers to purchase our products, and they provided us a comment, and that was very inspiring, encouraging. For the pop store, the real, it is a little bit inconvenient, but warm. But the EC, it is cold, but very convenient. I did not feel that way. So real store and net store, internet store, I think that both of them have a mutually good relationship to be developed. Usually, I purchased your product over Amazon, but I wanted to see the Kura, that is the sake storehouse and brewery, and he or she wanted to see that. When we think of the marketing, we did not separate. It is for this is real store, this is for the internet AC, but we will produce something good. Maybe this could be for e-commerce or maybe for the real store, but we can provide an opportunity for encountering. Looking at the Amazon, anything that you could be referring to, for example, the sake brewery's storehouse of other sake kura. Do you think that it would be useful? Yes. Well, we are faced with the COVID-19. How will we be able to lead into an opportunity? That is something as a management need to think. And preconceptual idea could be removed, and these could serve to remove that preconceptual idea harbored by people. There are many questions that I have. How about those three of you? You like to ask questions each other? For example, when it comes to a culture from DEI's perspective, now you stay in Japan in some period of time, and as you stay in China, it's maybe half and half spending time. But decision-making speed, what makes a difference? Maybe that difference of decision-making speed, how it could serve as a value creation, and or how do you convert that difference into a value? Because it would be highly likely that we are going to hire the local people in a different country. So half of my time is used in China, and there is a company available in China. There are lots of differences. For example, differences in terms of the speed or the agileness. It's totally different from Japan. So let me share with you one of the examples. For what I can do within 1 week, at the time of the April meeting, well, they will say that, yes, we are going to complete by the end of this calendar year, even though I thought myself that that could be done in 1 week. But in Japan, there is a very much good planning made and good arrangement, but that is missing from China's side. Having said that, the speed, the faster, maybe it is not thorough from Japan's perspective, but they are very fast. They will decide at that point of time. For example, here in Japan, how long do you have time? For example, by up until next or following month. So you are trying to take the middle way and to work together. Thank you very much for answering to that question.
I still have lots of questions I would have liked to ask, but this is time to close this session. Three of you, thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite Soma-san back for questions and answers. We received some questions prior to this event, so let's begin with three of you. Enhancement of productivity is realized with higher speed and efficiency, but diversity does not have the correct answer. You may want to explore through the process, and the process itself may be effective, but it takes time to find a good answer. How do you strike balance between productivity and diversity? Setsu-san, you already mentioned a part of this. Right. What I think is productivity and diversity do not contradict with each other. They are rather synergical because productivity is efficiency, paving roads. But as fast as it may go, if you go to the wrong direction, you end up with greater risk later on. So you have to be careful in making the decision. And diversity allows you to make a wise decision about the direction that you would like to take. Matsuda-san? Well, for us, for example, we have employees on wheelchair, we have employees who have hearing impairment. So we are very diverse, and we want to have information security. We are hiring sign language interpreters. For those people with disabilities, it's very important to ensure information security. It is not a social contribution. We would like to have this people with hearing impairment can sit in the table in the boardroom to contribute his or her ideas in decision making. And as you look at the events in department stores, the front rows are filled with people with hearing disabilities. And their conversion rate tend to be very high because they have not been able to shop what they wanted to shop. So, such endeavors lead to higher productivity and efficiency. The economy is ensured with that type of a decision making. Nishiyama-san, sake is still perceived as something for men, but we want women to enjoy it, so we want women to work for us. And we want to export our products. We want, therefore, have non-Japanese workers as well. And as they continue working, they may get married, they may deliver babies, they may get sick. Still, we want to continue working together. So striking the balance is a necessity, something that comes natural to us. I don't think we will reverse the trend. Soma-san, what do you think of what you have heard? Well, each of you, in your own context, you have developed your own interpretation of diversity and implementing it. That's wonderful. Now, in terms of productivity and diversity, diversity is something that you must tackle with. But as I showed you the data, diversity alone will continue to lose value, and you really have to make sure that you add speed in your management to implement and ensure diversity in your management. So that's what I heard from you. Now, Soma-san, I have a question for you. Diversity management of Japanese corporation. How your ministry evaluate the status and what sort of support does your ministry plans to offer? Right, diversity management over the past couple of years have made advancement leaps and bounds. It is attracting a lot of attention, but then there are lots of questions in terms of how to implement it, and some companies haven't even started. So we have to continue offering support for that, and also there are some mechanisms that we are building which could apply commonly to different participants. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for offering your views and opinions. Very inspiring. Setsu-san, Nishiyama-san, Matsuda-san, thank you very much for the panel discussion. Soma-san and Nawa-san, thank you for the keynotes. Although Nawa-san is not here. I would have liked to continue this discussion, but Amazon Academy has to draw its curtain for a close, so I'd like to declare a close of the session. Those of you who joined us online, you will receive email for your feedback survey. Please fill that in for our future sessions going forward. Once again, thank you very much for being with us at 9th Amazon Academy, taking valuable time out of your tight schedule. Thank you.